all of the reasons where when incels or blackpillers say it's not my fault, I'm like, man, this is your fault.
Sitting at home playing video games and getting no play, like invisible to women, incels.is.
Dangerous, toxic, and also just logically wrong. Women are really attracted to guys with money.
Are they attracted to them in the same way that they're attracted to good-looking tall men?
Yes, I think so.
These are the same types of people who like watch gore videos.
But it's not like they look at it like a glitch in the matrix, but they are factually attractive. That already puts you at a completely different place on the black pill spectrum, right? Like I feel like very few black pillars would say that. Interestingly, I really loved Confessions of a Low Value Loner as a video. I really loved it. It was a really great video, I think. And I'm also gonna tell you why. But I really hated the second one. Do men have it better in dating? It really made me very angry at times. On the one side, I believe in that male competitiveness and hypergamy and all of this stuff, right? But on the other hand, I think there's also an objective threshold that makes people aroused and sexually attracted to other people. That is kind of more absolute and not relative.
The actual average man is someone that people would rate like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, but
And
the average
what
man
people
has a
rate a
girlfriend,
5.
right? The average man has a wife, right?
Yeah, well,
You cannot, like, the moment you say that this is a statistical anomaly, that's where I'm like thinking, okay, you have a really, really, really shifted perspective on the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really different, significantly different than what everybody else is seeing.
there are black pillars who kind of like are in the same boat as me, where they acknowledge that they can go outside and see a bunch of sub 5 guys who have girlfriends, but at the same time they still believe in the black pill, and they might even say like, oh, it's over, it never began. It seems like these aren't really reconcilable. That's really interesting because I've never really thought about it that way. Because you just showed that like the numerical rating doesn't actually map onto the magnitude of attraction that you feel.
The big mistake you made there is you didn't calculate for the amount of woman, how much it would reduce the orgasms women would have if they would not pre-select for orgasms.
The richer the man is, the more the woman orgasms.
There you go. So, I don't know if you, I mean, it would be a good candidate for suspicion of faking something, but yeah, I don't know.
1% of the population might think that that guy's handsome, but the amount of comments that you see that are like gassing that guy up, it just doesn't match the reality. Like they're just saying that to make him feel better, but it's not the truth.
Many of them think that I'm lying to them, like constantly. But no matter if you think that we're correct or that we're wrong, like the anti-black pill people, the blue pill people, you can think that we're wrong, or you can. But one thing that black pill people should know, I think, is that we see that as a delusion, right? The black pill way of seeing things. Let's say a black pill comes into they would see that as a delusion, so they would never start arguing with the delusion. Like they would start tackling the reasons why this delusion happens, right? So I think that this way of seeing therapy is a little bit a caricature way of seeing it. I don't think it's really grounded in reality. What do you think about people that think that everyone is lying to them, like most of society is lying to them? That was like 10 years ago. And yeah, that was like pretty, like it was kind of a manic episode, but I don't think a therapist would have ever talked to him about that directly, but rather talked about everything else except that, right? Because you want to know the reason why that person believes that.
According to like black pill belief. So that's why they don't need to have SMV as a separate, they can just go off of looks.
I think that's a crazy, crazy leap, and that's also why I think it's so delusional. If you are bought into determinism, then the only way you can really meaningfully have a moral judgment on what somebody does is already just by utilitarianism, right? So you can only measure cause and consequences, and you can try to build a system around that, right? So you'll never have like a Kantian way of like saying, okay, it's your good intention or bad intention or categorical imperative or something like that. It's really difficult to do that in that sense because you don't have freedom of choice, right?
Right.
So you can only measure it. Okay, you can say, yeah, if it brings X amount of good in the world, then I do it, and if it does less amount of good, then I don't. From your perspective, then it could completely make sense to not tell someone that it's deterministic. But from my perspective, it makes no sense because I believe that you should not lie to people in general.
In theory, it should be very good, but when people actually
Okay.
apply it, they do a shitty job of it. So they
So,
don't
but you
do
think
what's
that there is an underlying truth of the matter? Because you're a determinist, because you think that you could basically, if you would have all the factors, you could basically calculate it and find out all the eventual possible outcomes of what would happen, right? Logically, this makes no sense because if that would be the case, nothing would exist. There would be nothing. What do you think are your chances that in the next 5 years you're going to be find a girlfriend and all of this being completely a closed chapter in your life and you're basically having a completely changed life where you look back and you're like, yeah, there was a period in my life and it's now over?
Yeah, there is always this notion, even in black pill spaces, that once you find a girlfriend, you can leave the black pill behind.
Just because you are done with the truth doesn't mean it is done with you.